Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. I am your host, Demetrius Woods, and today I have a lovely guest with me, Avrianna Wapniewski, and we're going to jump into her softball journey, and she's also going to give you guys a little bit of advice as she gets ready to head off to go play some college softball. We'll see you guys soon. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I am so excited. Listen, first of all, I'm going to reference Avrianna as WAP. So this is the last time you're going to hear me say Avrianna, most likely. Although she has a beautiful name, she is WAP on the ball field and off of it a lot. So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Like I said before, so I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Me too. I'm very excited.
My day has been a great one. We had softball tryouts today, which went really well. But it doesn't beat this, so I'm ready. So, all right, let's talk. I guess we'll get serious right away. And you know, I thought about a couple of things that I wanted you to be able to share from your perspective, and this was definitely one of them. And so, to our audience out there, like one of my personal biggest fears as a coach and a lover of this game is that I've kind of seen this pattern, so to speak, of where people will join like 8U, 10U, 12U travel ball teams, right?
Right.
And they don't practice, which is odd to me. Honestly, I know for some people out there like travel ball, they don't practice. Like you just play on the weekends, you get together, have fun with your friends.
Everybody has a different opinion, but
yeah, right. But okay, so they don't practice at that age, and then they get to your age group, which is 18U,
right.
And the coach, in that sense, like they either choose not to teach something because you should already know it,
right,
or they won't teach it at all because they just assume that you knew it and that you learned it. So now you've got a recipe for disaster because you've got kids at 10U who never learned something, maybe something basic to us, right? And then they get to your age group and they never know it. They never know it even exists. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree with it? Have you seen that come to fruition at some point?
I mean, I want to say I agree with it just because, like you said, the basic things that coaches want every player to know are the smallest things in the game that we, even at our age, mess up on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it could be as simple as throwing a ball correctly or fielding a ground ball correctly or even just swinging correctly. Like, I don't agree with not practicing even at a young age because I started at a young age and I was not who I am today. And that's okay though, because those kind of moments are the ones that you think back on when you become a better player. Like you grow from those small moments. So I feel like practice, I mean, it sounds like cheesy. Everybody says like practice makes perfect. No, practice makes improvement. And it's very true. Like I've watched myself grow. I've watched multiple players grow, even from blue, like even from black, even myself. Like I've seen coaches grow from different things. Even practice coaches are learning their players. They're learning what their players don't like just like attitudes in different ways. Like I just think practice is always important. Like whether you love or hate it, you're gonna need it.
Yeah,
it's always required.
I think this is flowing into a practice conversation. So because here's the thing, as a player of mine this past year, like an average tournament week, like we're going to practice 5 hours in a week, right? 2.5 hour practices twice a week. And I know that although I love coaching you guys in tournament play, like don't get me wrong, I love that a lot, but practice is truly our time to gel and vibe and understand like certain things about you, the ball player, right? And then we're also able to pick up on certain things that you don't understand.
Yeah, and it's like our practices, and it can be like this with other teams too. Like our practices aren't always just so serious or like you being so stern on us. Like this is time for us to get to know each other that we don't speak to every practice. Like throw with somebody different, see what they did today. Like, it's just like it's not just practice, it's bonding time, and that's what makes our family so special. It's that it's not just practices. Although we are making good cuts, making good plays, we're doing what we need to do to prepare, but we're also having fun while we're doing it, and that's what's important.
Right. And speaking on the game side of it, like this, but like our audience, I think I've said this on prior shows, but like we are as a program fairly aggressive on the base pads.
Oh yeah,
right,
for sure.
And I just feel like if you don't practice together, that chemistry is very hard to gather. right? And I feel like at some cases, like you guys can almost anticipate me calling a bunt sign or a still sign before I even call it,
Oh yeah.
right? And that's, to me, that's big. Like I feel like we're winning as a team already before we even execute the play because we're already on the same wavelength, and your body, your physical, everything's prepared for that moment.
Yeah.
Because of the sweat equity we put into practice.
And that's another thing, like a part of practice is like learning communication with each other, not just communication with like your teammates, but like we can communicate with you without even speaking. Like we could be sitting in the dugout, we're in a sticky situation, we're like, we know what D's about to do. Even though there's 2 outs, we know what he's gonna do. Like we're just like being able to know each other without even having to say anything. And that's important. Like that's something big to me, and I know big to any girl.
Yeah.
And it always should be. So
I agree.
practice is big.
I agree. Now, again, can teams go out and stick a collection of talent together and go have some success? Yeah, you could, because everybody's just studs, and you just
I mean, yeah.
you overcome any chemistry issues on the field.
Right.
But I've seen those same teams walk off the field and they don't know each other.
That's what. Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Like you can teach skill, you can improve skill, but you cannot teach a bond.
Yeah.
Between females, especially. No diss
I
to
have
any
to second
girls.
that. I have to second that for sure.
But you gotta be able to grow with each other. You know. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure like on our team, there's girls that say like, "I didn't think you liked me at first. Like I didn't know." And that's a part of practice. That's a part of team bondings. Like you get to know each other, and females' hormones bounce off each other. You never know what's coming. Like those are the times you take to get to it for sure.
I agree. So I'm gonna take a moment to kind of introduce you to the audience before we go to the next piece. But like, so WAP is she has been a part of our travel softball organization for 2 years. I'm pretty sad because this is the end of her journey. Because we are Alec. So you guys are, the show is being recorded a couple of days before it comes out. But this weekend we are heading off to Panama City Beach for our World Series, and we'll be there for a week. Hopefully, we come back with some hardware. But either way, we're gonna go down, compete, have a good time at the beach, and so WAP is our cornerstone third baseman. She's been that all year for us, and she actually got some reps at catcher.
Oh yeah,
this
my
year.
second favorite.
Yep. So that's been exciting stuff too, and she's gonna get some reps in the World Series as well, which is exciting. So anyway, all that to say, WAP is she's. I'm not gonna tell you who she is yet, but she's she's big for us, and one that I'll truly miss as a coach. But speaking of the game, playing the game, our team, I know that there are at least 2 intangibles that we harp on a lot as a program, and I know that they mean a lot to you as a lover of the game. What are those intangibles, and what do they mean to you?
Mine are definitely, well, coming into this organization, mine was always effort, because you can do so much with effort and it shows. But the more I was around you and Coach Jay, you guys taught me like a lot more valuable lessons. Like it's not just effort, it's attitude and effort. When I was younger and I messed up or I was upset in my head, I wore it on my shoulder. You could see it all the time. But as I got older and I was around definitely wiser people, I realized like things are going to happen. And you cannot rely on that at all, because I might be upset because I just struck out, but my teammate just hit a bomb and I need to go celebrate with her.
Yep.
And like those things are just like the smallest things that people don't think about regularly, but as they get more into the game, if you really love the game, you'll start realizing like those are like big things, even to coaches. Like I know when I've talked to college coaches or anybody in the recruiting process at all, they've always told me like, I'm not only looking for skill. A girl can be a great player, but is she cheering on her teammates after she just struck out? Is she picking another teammate up after she just missed a ground ball? Like those things are huge, and like those are the kind of things that a lot of people look for, and if you don't show it or you're just bad at it, those will get you crossed off the list easily.
Absolutely.
And like nobody wants to be around nobody negative or with a bad attitude, like especially if your teammate's trying to pick you up and you just don't want to be picked up. There's other ways you can like take about it, like take a moment, let it sit there for a second, like you tell me, and then throw it away. You got a million other games to play while you're young still. And that's another thing I've realized actually, is that gosh, I can't even tell you how many games I've played of softball in my life, how many fields I've seen around the world.
Right.
But there's always another opportunity to do more.
It is. I agree. I 100% agree with that. And I think that, like, with your attitude from last year. So you played for Elite Diamonds Black last year, and I remember coming to a game. I came to help DD coach a game. We were in Conyers, I believe, and I believe we were in first or second round of bracket play. I can't recall, but you booted a ball at third base, and you kind of cut your eyes over to your parents, maybe, or even us. And of course, in that moment, like, your dad was not pleased, of course. Your mom, whatever. But and again, it was a tough spot, right? Because it was like, oh man, that was an error at a very crucial point, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't the end of the day.
Right.
And I think for you, like, watching your growth from that moment on has been a beautiful thing,
Right.
because I'm watching you boot a ball, be pissed for 25 seconds or so, and then we move on. We
Right.
go. Because at the end of the day, you know what you bring to the table.
Right.
And going back to that practice standpoint, like, you know the work that you put in.
Right.
And that's what you rely on in games, right? Like, you trust the work that you put in. You know at the end of the day, I can go make the next play.
Right. And, like, I think to myself, like, it's not worth getting mad now and changing who I've become to go back to who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't miss that. I don't miss throwing away my whole tournament because I messed up one time.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I want to live in the moment. I mean, I'm getting older. I'm about to go to college, and it's crazy. Growing up is so crazy. And it's just like, I got to take every moment I can in. Because one day, I mean, the cleats get put aside.
Yep.
And it's my turn to coach these girls one day, maybe. Like, then I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Right.
Like, it's just completely different. I just never want to take a moment of the game for granted.
Absolutely.
Ever.
I agree. And that's why, like, not only do we want to coach attitude and effort, we want to be attitude and effort, right? And although we're all human, like, sometimes I have to check myself, right? And not that I really ever have an attitude per se, but it's more of how do my words come across in a moment, right? Of a heat of the moment type thing. Because I don't, although it's like, hey, this was a big moment, you don't want to make it bigger than life,
right?
Because you nor I are bigger than this game, and this game is not bigger than life.
Right.
Therefore, we don't need to make it as big of a deal as sometimes it feels in a moment, right? And so we talk about the attitude in the heat of a tough moment, but man, what about the attitude in great moments, right? Where we talk about celebrating everything that we possibly can.
Right. The small things.
It is. Sure. It is.
And actually, shout out to the twins, actually. I remember I was down in a game one time when I was playing for Black, and Rain and Sky always told me, just have fun. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yeah.
It's a game built for failure. And things are bound to happen, but if you don't love what you're doing, then why are you really doing it?
Yep.
Tough times are going to come, and that's what you learn from. You grow and you learn. That's literally the definition of maturing. And you're going to have your ups and downs, but you're going to push through them. And in the end, like, it can be beautiful. It really can.
Really. Absolutely can. And there's two words that are associated with sports that I feel like sometimes we lose the definition of, and that's the word play and the word game.
Right.
And as babies, I've got a 4.5-year-old daughter, right? And when I use those two words with her, those two words are directly associated with fun.
Right.
Right? And so softball, we play softball, and it is a softball game.
Right.
Therefore, fun is mandatory.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fun, encouragement, positivity, regardless of the grind itself, which is important to play it at a high clip. There's no doubt about that. But if you watch players at the pro level, you watch collegiate ball players, which you're about to go be one. We'll talk about that in a bit. But like, they're playing it, having fun. Enjoying what
even when we went to Oklahoma and we were watching all the players on that field, like, I can't even point out one specific one.
Yeah.
But it's like, the game might have been tough, but you could see that they're enjoying what they're doing. They're celebrating those small things at a big level, like literally the smallest things. Getting a walk and throwing your bat. I mean, cheering with the team. Like,
I
come
love
on,
that
like,
stuff. Like that.
Those things are the things that get the whole game changed. Like, started. Everybody's pumped. Everybody's thinking like, oh, I want to be on her level. Like, those are the things you gotta look for, and they're small, but they're big in some people's hearts.
And here's the cool thing to me though, is that you say, man, I want to be on her level. That's a choice.
Right.
Right? Like everybody doesn't have her, maybe meaning Jada Coleman, right? Oklahoma, well, she's no longer there, but like get that excited about a walk to start off a game.
Right.
You can do that now, today. Mm-hmm. Right? You can decide, hey, maybe you can't hit like her today, maybe you can't throw like her today, whatever. You can grow to that. But the energy, the effort, the attitude, all of that, you can be on that level.
You can always give it. Always.
That's right. And it's so funny because I feel like sometimes at the lower levels, high school, travel ball, middle school, that stuff is considered corny. Truly, I think so.
I think sometimes, like with our team, like cheering can be like that. Yes. But it's like,
I'm like, yo, get up, man, let's go.
It's funny though because, like, you know, we have some of our quiet players.
Yes, we do.
EJ, Kira, and Shay. Before we went to Oklahoma, EJ was one of the quiet ones, but now you see EJ high-fiving girls. You see EJ talking. You see EJ and Shay making fun of each other. Like, that's, like, I take those moments and I love cracking up at them because it's so precious, because it's like they feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. They're at home. They're always giving 100% effort. Like, they always have a best attitude. Like, I've never seen a frown on their faces. And even if they are, they're out of it in a second and they're cheering on everybody else. They're having fun with the game. And that's just great. Like, I just love watching it.
I'm right there with you. That growth, the growth of this team that we've had this year has been so beautiful. Because like you said, it has, in comparison to like last year's team for our goal team, like last year's team was very animated and very loud all the time.
Oh, yeah.
In your face. This group has been a more chill, quiet group, but to see moments where there are breakthroughs there.
Right.
Like, again, I feel like practice is a testament to that. Team outings, chemistry building activities have all been.
I definitely believe all that. Because, like, we're not, like, our team as far as gold isn't just playing softball with each other.
No.
We're making friends. We're making lifelong memories. We're making funny moments in the team house that we stayed in, taking pictures together. Playing with Aubrey like she's our sister. Like, it's just great. Like, those things are what make us gold.
It's a special thing. It's a special thing. So before I get emotional at all, we're going to move on. We're actually going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what's on her arm, and we're going to talk about her softball journey as well. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. So we are going to jump into, actually, before we do that, you guys can't tell, but Wap's lips are popping with lip gloss. So can you tell us, like, because you before this segment, you were like, Wap is not Wap without her lip gloss. Like, where'd that come from? Why is that a thing?
Honestly, I've always wore lip gloss, but I'm very picky about what kind of lip gloss I wear.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't like it too sticky. I like it like an oil base. But Maya was the one that really got me back on it. Her and Z, if you've ever watched them play softball or go anywhere, it's always in their back pocket.
Yep.
And, like, I'm the type that'll just bring it with me and then forget that I have it. But now I can't stop putting it on 20% because it's like I just want to make sure my lips aren't dry. They don't look crusty. Nobody's looking at my lips, and I'm like, why are you staring?
Oh my Lord, that's hilarious. Yeah, we'll play like 5, maybe 6 games in a day, and I know it comes out of her pocket like it feels like a dozen times. I don't know, but it's hilarious. All right, so speaking of another thing, body related, we got the tattoos, and you got the first one a month ago.
A couple weeks ago. Honestly,
it's only been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I feel it. No, it might have been a month already. Wow,
that's crazy.
I know I got this one on 4th of July.
Okay.
4th of July morning.
Yep.
And then these two, I know I got these two pretty back to back because I got this one after, like, I think 2 weeks after I got my first one.
Yeah, the second one surprised me because you were talking about it.
Yeah, it surprised me.
I was like, oh, you're serious? Like, you're real serious. So okay, so because I don't have any tattoos, but I'm very like I'm all about meaning.
Right.
You know, like with anything, like I do things with a purpose, and so like I want to know, I want our audience to know for you, like what do these mean? Why are they important to you? The whole nine.
Well, originally, my rule in my house was nobody gets a tattoo until they turn 18. This year I turned 18. They weren't joking when you said you get addicted. I had to get more. So
Wow.
I actually got my first one when I was 17 still.
Okay.
It was a week before my birthday, and this dude that I hit up, my friends go to him. I'm recommended. His work's great. You know, I'm messaging him, I'm gassing him up. I'm like, hey, like your work's so great. Like, can you hook me up? And he's like, yeah, I got you. He's like, what do you want? I'm looking. I'm a Pinterest kind of girl, so looking
Okay.
on Pinterest. But I'm looking deep meanings because I never want to be a person 6 years from now and people are like, what does that tattoo mean? And I'm like, nothing, I just liked it.
Yeah, I got you.
So I go and I find what I want, and initially my thought behind my first tattoo was going to be my dad. Not a lot of people know this, but my dad was born in South Korea. He was born in Seoul, and his mom was too. So a lot of our family members, like my uncle, him, and my cousin, they have our last name tattooed in Korean. And our last name is very unique, obviously. So I was like, I don't want to copy them. I don't want to get, our last name. So let me just look at something that I know connects with me and my dad, really. Or just our family in general, immediate family, of course. So I found this tattoo and I loved it. I got it done. Didn't hurt. I had a great time, and instantly I knew I wanted more. But the first one was my words, and it means at the end of hardship comes happiness.
Mm.
So it's like, I face hardship on the field, off the field, at home, at school, with friends, with relationships, of course. But at the end, I made it out.
Yeah.
The things that I never thought I could get through, I got through. The tears, the laughing, the crying, it was all worth it in the end because I knew in the end I became a better person after. And I'm growing into a whole new person. To this day, I still am. Like, I'm not done. Of course, I know I'm going to face many other things in life. And, it's going to make me who I am 20 years from now.
You're right. And you're wiser, way wiser beyond your years, right? Because, and I, people used to tell me that as well. Like, I was kind of an old soul as a high schooler as well. But I, like, to acknowledge that about yourself now, like, I've grown, but I still have growing to do.
Right.
And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's important because there's going to be challenges in your life that you'll face in the future where you have to have that same exact mentality and approach to it, and it'll get you through that as well. So that's beautiful.
I also just love like having it because like I don't want to brag, but when people ask me, I'm like, I get to share my piece with them.
Yes.
And I wake up every morning and I see this tattoo and I think about it and I'm like, that's with me forever. So me sharing it with them, maybe it can stick with them forever.
Right.
And that's big. Like, you never know what somebody's going through. And it could be the ones you least expect.
Right.
So it's like maybe they needed to hear that. Maybe they needed to know that at the end, they're going to be okay. And it's big,
That's perfect.
I just had to put it on me.
I love
forever.
that. I love that. So for our audience or for our viewers, I guess, or listeners that don't watch this show physically, they just listen to it. Describe your next one and what that looks like.
Okay, so my next one is a koi fish, and it has flowers around it. I got a little color in it, didn't think I was going to. I've heard it hurts. I was iffy about it. And initially, I wasn't going to get this tattoo tied in with my first one at all. I was going to get it on the inside of my arm. It was going to be bigger. And then I get there. This is after I turned 18. So, like, I didn't really need my mom, but my mom wanted to come and watch with me. My best friend and all.
Yep.
But, I'm telling him how I feel about where I want it. And he's like, I really think it would look good in between where you put your first one.
And is this the same guy who did the first one?
Yeah. Okay. I never switch up my tattoo artist. Shout out Danny Sanchez. He's really good. But I knew the meaning behind the tattoo before I got it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, where he just placed it, when he put the stencil on me, I was like, it's perfect. Because everybody's going to think it's one tattoo. But it's really not. It's two different meanings. Not two different meanings, but two different aspects of the same meaning.
Sure.
So basically, this tattoo means perseverance in love. So again, pushing through the hard things to get to what you love. So pushing through everything that I've ever been through in life.
Yeah.
Just to get to self-love, family love, softball love. I mean, school love, like life love, just loving love in general. And that's so big to me. Like, everybody thinks it's so corny, like love, but it's like love plays so many roles.
Oh, don't even get me started.
You love the small things in life.
Yeah.
And that's what's big. I mean, love can make you a great person. Like, it really can. And it shows a lot. But that's what tied into this. And then I just fell in love with it all.
I'm pause you there because on that topic of love, like, I mean, I literally made part of our Elite Diamonds travel ball slogan, like, for the love of the game.
Right.
And, you know, my life verse is let all you do be done in love. I mean, that's literally how I end every show.
Right.
I'm telling people that. And just without getting long-winded, deep but not long-winded, like, when you lead with love, that trumps everything else.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, because at the end of the day, like, you think about, like, our listeners, I know we're not talking softball right this second, really, but, like, you think about that for a second. It's very hard to be angry when you're leading with love.
Right.
Like, if you're leading with loving intentions, it's hard to do somebody wrong.
Right.
It's hard to be angry. It's hard to have any ill will. Right? And it's a great place and great state of mind, in my opinion, to be in, because when you wake up in the morning and you love life, you have a gratitude for it and the people in it, then you can go about your day knowing that no matter what the world brings me today, I'm good.
I'm gonna love it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like, that's another thing. Like, you live your life with your attitude and effort too. Like, forget just being about softball. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, love can be an attitude. And, like, when you show people that and they don't show that all the time, it makes them want to change their whole, like, persona. And it's great. Like, you can lead by example. And I think that's something that can be greatly shown to other people.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. So, the one up top on the shoulder.
My last one
What we
right
got?
now, because I got to take a pause. This one really hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, just the placement of it?
Yes. So
Ooh.
originally, walking into getting my tattoo, this was 4th of July morning. My appointment was scheduled for 12. I woke up like 10. Was up, stayed up kind of late the morning before, but he messaged me and he's like, same guy. He's like, I forgot it's 4th of July. Can you come a little sooner? And I'm like, oh, I just woke up. I haven't eaten anything, nothing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. Because he's only like 13 minutes away from me. It's not far. So I get there, we're talking, and I mean, I knew how much this tattoo was going to be walking because, like, we do a consultation through text before I go get my tattoos always.
Gotcha.
And he's like, how big do you think you want this, truly? And I'm like, I'm going in there thinking, I want to be a big dog. I want this huge. Like, I want it to cover my whole arm. And he's like, well, let me print it out and show you. So he prints out this size, and I'm like, okay. He's like, this will be good because you can work around it eventually. And he's like, you're going to want to put more in your sleeve. Like, I promise you, it's going to keep going.
So that is the goal.
Yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
the sleeve.
Full sleeve. Except the inside of my bicep. I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
After this, I don't know. But, so I'm sitting in the chair, and normally before he starts my tattoo, he's like, are you ready? He shows me he's opening brand new needles. Just safe policy. Like, just know.
Yep.
And so I'm looking at my phone, like I'm texting my mom. I went by myself, actually. She was at work on 4th of July. My dad and sister were asleep. So I just left, went, drove there, got there, sitting down. I'm looking at my phone. All of a sudden I hear the needle go, and I'm like, okay, like he's about to tell me. Didn't tell
nothing.
Me. Nope.
Nothing.
Went straight to the skin. And, you know, when he placed my stencil on, I told him to move it lower, and he was like, I think it'll look better higher. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous. He was like, are you scared of the pain? And I was like, yeah. He goes, don't worry about the pain. I'm like, I'm going to worry about the pain.
Easier for you to say, sir.
I'm like, I'm sitting there, he's drawing on me, doing his thing. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting there thinking, like, I'm about to pass out right now when he got to my shoulder.
Wow.
And I'm so glad my tattoo arm isn't my right arm because, you know, I've had a shoulder injury. So it's a sensitive shoulder still. But I'm literally like, he's going higher, and then as like that's just line work. Line work's deep. He's a little heavy-handed, but I don't mind because I mean, of course, I want my tattoos to be good.
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting there, and I'm just like trying to watch my show, watch my HBO Max, just chilling. I can't even focus on what the girls are saying in the show. Like I cannot. Like the needle is literally digging into my
Oh
skin.
my goodness.
So I'm sitting there. One of my friends FaceTime me, and they're like, "Let me see your tattoo," and I'm like, "I'm still getting it." And my friend's like, "It hurt, doesn't it?" I was like, "Yes, it's hurting very bad right now." But I didn't want to tell the guy that because normally he'll tell me like, "You're doing really good. Like you're good for never having tattoos." I'm like, "Yeah." And finally, he gets done what I thought was done.
Oh
And
no.
he's like, he stops the needle and he does a little dry wipe. And I'm like, okay, finally I'm done. Like he normally tattoos really fast. Like most of my tattoos are done within 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah, that is quick.
yeah, he's been doing it for a while, so I think that's why he's pretty good at it. But he turns it off, wiping my arm, and then I'm looking over and I'm like, he goes, "I just finished the line work. Now I got to do the shading."
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness. Nope.
And multiple people have told me like, shading's the worst. Shading's the worst. And so he goes back in, and my arm already feels super raw. Like I'm bleeding a little bit,
Mhm.
just because like it's so sensitive right there too. Because this is like a thinner piece of meat. Like I feel like my forearm was a little bit not as bad until he got to my bone.
Got you.
But he goes back in for the shading. I'm literally like nodding my head back, and I'm like, oh. My friend's texting me. He's like, "Are you done?" And I'm like, "This isn't fun anymore. I don't think I want any more tattoos right now. Like I think I need to take a break."
Well, you got 3 in the span of
Less
3
than a
weeks,
month. Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's impressive for a
But
first timer.
in the end, it was all worth it. I love the work. He's a great guy. Always checks on me, make sure I'm okay. If I'm not, I need to take a break, and he'll tell me. But I mean, it did hurt, but the pain of a tattoo for me
Mhm.
goes behind the meaning as well,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
So the meaning behind this tattoo was I got my dad first. You know, my mom was gonna get about her if I didn't get anything for her, and my sister, because we agreed that my first tattoo was gonna be together. But she didn't want to do that at the time. So the meaning behind my 2 flowers are the 2 beautiful blossom women in my life, which is my mom and my sister. And like we live in a house where it's us 3 and just my dad. So my dad's definitely suffering in the drama sometimes, but there's days that we yell at each other, we get annoyed with each other, you
Sure.
know, our hormones are bouncing off each other,
Yep,
as I say.
part of it.
But there's also the times where I've grown up and my sister hasn't just been my sister, she's been a mom to me at points. My mom hasn't just been my mom, she's been my best friend. And my sister is definitely my best friend as well. I mean, we laugh, we make jokes together, we go on girl dates together. Like, these are the 2 women in my life that, I mean, if anything happened to them, like, my life would completely change. So
Yeah.
it's like, I want to be able to carry them with me always. And that's really why I wanted this tattoo. Because it's like, everybody thinks, like, oh, she just got flowers because they're pretty. But it's like, no.
Nope.
That's my mom and sister right there.
A
like,
lot deeper meaning to it.
and it was like my sister's birthday was actually 2 days ago, and you know she made me cry on my birthday with all her sentimental gifts and whatnot. So I had to do the same to her, and I literally was writing her a card, and I was like, you know, I got a tattoo recently, and I want you to know, like, even though I'm leaving for school, I'm only 2 hours away, but you'll always be with me on and off the field. And they both have played a big role in my softball life too, like supporting me, picking me up when like I'm not feeling my best or I feel like my worth isn't there. They've always showed me like I am more than anyone could less tell me. It's just they're very important. I just had to get it tattooed on me, but
I love that, and I love those meanings aren't subtle either. They're like they're bold to you, and those are things that you're not gonna forget
right.
70 years from now. You know, and I also believe though that like you can just hear in your voice the love that you have for your people, and I think that's part of the message today to our audience is when you hear Wap speak about her circle and the love that she has for the people in her life, like I just feel like you're a testament to what that should be like. It's not going to be perfect at all. Like no relationship with anybody is, but the people in your life that you love, that you trust, they're irreplaceable.
Oh, I agree completely. I mean,
So,
like I said, never take life for granted, really.
no,
Especially the people that have seen you go through your highest highs and your lowest lows. And that's definitely my sister and my mom.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad too, but I mean, a girl's bond is completely different.
Way different, and nobody has to necessarily know the details of your story because you can hear it
Right.
in the way that you speak, your tone, like it's all authentic, and to me that's a beautiful thing. So,
And another thing is like, out of the girls in the family, like my sister and my mom, big social butterflies. Love to talk, love to laugh at random things people are saying. Me, I'm definitely my dad's daughter when it comes to my face.
sure.
A lot of people think I'm mad most of the time, and it's just like, no, I'm either really locked in or I'm just zoned out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just my face. Like, honestly, off, like, just looking at me, most of our girls on our team probably were like, oh, she looks mean. We don't know if we want to be her friend. But I promise you, when you get to know me, I'm the biggest sweetheart.
Yep.
And if we become close, I love you like my own family.
And that's big.
Always.
That's big. So, all right, let's get onto the field for a little bit, and let's talk about your softball journey a little bit. When did this all start for you? So, how old were you?
I was 7 years old, actually.
Wow.
I was a pretty late starter. Most girls talk about like, oh, I played t-ball. I was like, oh, I didn't.
No t-ball for you. But I mean, again, I know it's all relative. I met a girl at tryouts today. She didn't start till she was 11.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So and so again, I know it's all relative. So started when you were 7, and then what position did you play back then?
Back then, I didn't even know what the positions were really. My journey all started from I was going to a summer camp at a place called Jack City. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Mm-mm.
My dad's in a car club that you know.
Yep.
And his friend used to play for the Dodgers. His name's Keith Whitner.
That's right.
And he owned that place. Big field, nice, had their own field, had the indoor facility, gym upstairs. It was a daycare. Every sport you could think of was in there.
Wow.
I was going there because my parents were working full time. I just didn't want to sit at home or be alone. So I was going to summer camp. And I would watch these girls play this sport all the time. And I was like, wow, like, I don't do anything with my life right now. Like, I need to fall in love with something. And watching them, watching the excitement, watching the hard work that they were doing, like thinking to myself at that young age, like, I bet this pays off one day.
Yeah.
And I eventually told my dad, and my parents were so excited. Like, my sister's not the athlete, in the family. My sister's more creative. She likes art, likes music. Those, like, we're completely polar opposites, but best friends at the end of the day. But I told my parents, and the area that we were living in had already had tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went, I went to sign up, and the rec department lady had told us, like, it's either she plays with like 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds as a 7-year-old, or she goes and plays baseball. And back then, little me was like, I'm not playing with boys. Like, no way. I was like, I'll just suck it up. So, I mean, you can imagine little old me on the field with these big
11,
girls.
12-year-olds, yeah.
But I mean, back then, I think I was playing first base.
Okay.
I originally started as a corner, and then begun to hate it.
Really?
Did not like it at all.
Why?
I don't know. Just something about it I just didn't like. I didn't feel comfortable. I mean, to this day, I don't prefer first base. But, I mean, of course, being the player that I am now,
Play wherever,
any spot on the field is beautiful to me. But back then, I was just like, maybe because it was too hard for me, I didn't have that strong of an arm back then
and
at
you're
all.
playing up like
Oh, yeah.
like 2 or 3 levels.
These girls are smacking the balls down my neck, and I'm running away from it. Like,
Yep. Yeah, I don't know why
crazy.
coach put you there. Like she's 7.
But I mean, it taught me a lot,
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I've always played actually up age because the competition was different. It was better. I was learning from it. So it was just like back then, like, my dad didn't treat me like I was younger.
Yeah.
Because my dad was like my coach too. Like, of course, sideline coach back then, but he would always tell me like things that I seen wrong, or like, don't feel like you're belittled to them. Play at their level. Don't play below it.
Sure.
And he still tells me that to this day. Like, even if like we're playing a younger team that's playing up, I mean, never stoop down. always play at your level or higher.
Sure.
And I completely agree to that, like to this day still. But back then, I was still a little scared.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I can admit it now. As an
rightfully
18-year-old,
so.
I can admit it.
Rightfully so. You had every right to be a little nervous about that because I don't know if I would be doing that either. So I always played about where I was supposed to. I think I played up for like a year or two or something like that. But being 7 and playing 11 and 12, I mean, because 12-year-olds are in the 7th grade.
That's what I was still in elementary
7
school.
is like 2nd, 3rd grade.
And I could go to like elementary school, like, yeah, I play softball now. All the girls are bigger than me. I'm the smallest one on the team. But it was okay.
Gosh,
like,
man.
it was okay. I mean, at the end, it was all worth it, of course. Like,
so fast forward to a couple of years ago. Your first impression of me when we first met. What you got?
Okay, so
I guess it wasn't even 2 years ago. It was more like a year and a half, but not quite 2 years ago. Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody knows I met Didi before I met you when we merged teams, and I did not like him at all. First practice, smacking balls down our throats. Mind you, we're at Lakeside, so you know how big that field is.
That is the best.
Our outfielders are getting burnt, completely burnt. Our infielders getting hit in the face, getting hit in the chest. So I'm like, oh, I don't like this guy. Like, I want to meet the other guy. So I meet you, we haven't officially like played softball together yet. So
Yep.
like, this guy seems pretty cool. Like, seems funny, seems like newer, like my generation, like definitely somebody I can vibe with.
Make a Didi sound like an old guy.
Then I picked up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now this tournament, I didn't know what I was in for at all. And, we're struggling a little bit throughout the day, just like on simple things. I understand how frustrating that can get sometimes,
Sure.
especially as a coach. Like, you're practicing it over and over and over. Like, we just went through this and now we're messing up against like teams that we shouldn't be messing up against.
Yep.
So I think that was my first like playing impression, was like you yelling at us like, what are we doing? Like, we need to get it together. And I'm like, oh, so maybe I was wrong. But no, as soon as I became,
that's great.
I mean, I was on black when I still like got to know you more, but I was like, he's gonna be my best friend. Like, teaching me valuable lessons, picking me up when I felt like nobody else was, watching me when I felt like nobody else was. I mean, the smallest things you would tell me, I'd be like, wow, you noticed that? Like, that's big. Like, that's huge. And like,
sure.
As I got older, I learned that my coach will never just be my coach. My coach will be my lifelong friend if he allows me to connect with him that way.
Yep.
And you've never showed me that I couldn't connect to you like that at all. And
sure.
I mean, now we're best friends for
yes,
sure,
we are.
for sure.
And it's so crazy, man, because I love that that's kind of the cycle of the story, because it's like, maybe Didi is the nicer, whatever. But like, it's so cool because I think so. Let me go back. My first impression of you was more of an eye roll in a good way, because, and I know we're gonna get to that team in a second, but you were playing for a different travel ball team at that time, and I believe we were in the same tournament, but it was prior to the game that we had to face you.
Right.
But I'm like, I feel like that's the team we're going to face in the championship, and of course it ended up being that. And so I didn't know your name. I just knew you. I just knew of you, rather. And I watch you. I watch your swing. I watch the way that you were playing the game. I'm like, dadgummit, man. I'm like cussing in my head, actually. I'm like, I don't really want to have to pitch to her, because she's going to make us pay. And so on some level, it's going to be a problem for us. It's not going to be a good situation.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. So of course, at this point, and mind you, I don't usually game plan for specific players like that in a travel ball tournament. I game plan for the entire team.
Right.
And every now and then we'll point out number whatever, like whatever.
Scouting reports.
But at this point, I decided, all right, I'm like, listen, every game that we're off, I'm going to go watch her. Because I want to make sure that that wasn't a fluke.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, she's kind of good. Oh crap, she's really good. So I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Like, we're not gonna lose to her. Like, she's not going to beat us. So that was my true first impression of you as a softball player, right? But then, which, like I said, we're gonna get into this in a second. But then you joined the organization, and I actually had a conversation with your mom or dad first? I can't remember.
I have a feeling it was my mom because I think my mom, we were in the car one day, and this was back when I was on that old team.
Uh-huh.
And this was before we even like met each other.
Yep.
She's like, "Do you know Demetrius Woods?" And I'm like, "Never heard of that name." And then I think she said the name of the team, and I was
Mhm.
like, "I think we just played them." And I was like, "These girls are good." Like we had already been thinking, like looking other places, you know.
Yep.
I was like, if this guy wants me, this is gonna be crazy. So I was like, I didn't conversate with him, like, but you know, like at the end of the day, I never knew what you saw.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't in your head,
No.
and you weren't in mine.
You were in
So
mine.
we were clueless.
you were definitely in mine. And so yeah, we'd had a conversation. I had the conversation with her parents. I was like, dude, yeah, like great. That's a plus for our team because we don't have to ever play her again. You know what I mean? So I was looking at it from a funny strategic standpoint. But then of course I got to know you,
Right.
and I got to know the person. And I'm like, likewise, like I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hurt when she's gone.
Right.
And it's again just being realistic about it. You're a big piece of my heart as a person.
Don't make me cry.
And it's just crazy, man, because every player carries a different place in every coach's heart,
Right.
I think. But rightfully so, some more than others. And in a short time you've reached that level for me. And so it became less about like the baloney of like, oh, I don't want to pitch to her. Like that was such a minute thing in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Now that I know you, you know what I mean? And it's crazy how God kind of inserts people in your life in certain areas, and then things materialize and it balloons to bigger places than you can ever imagine.
I agree. I think our friendship has definitely grown. Like,
Yep.
we're not just, definitely not now, we're not just coach and player. Like, we can be best friends. Like, I can feel comfortable coming to you about anything. If I need help, I know you're there.
Yep.
Like, you're my family. And that's big to me, of course. And, like, we were kind of there, like, before. And then now it's like, we're definitely there.
Yep.
Like, for sure.
And the cool thing is, I mean, we were just like we were doing tryouts earlier this week or whatever, and you know, this guy was asking, or his dad rather was asking some questions, and I'm like, listen, family is a big word in our organization, but it's not something that we just pay lip service to. Like that's a real thing. And you know, now again, it's on different levels because people connect in different ways.
Right.
But yeah, so I like I said, first impression, that was a big thing. Okay, so let's go to that other team.
Okay.
And that other team, the organization, to me, I've always had a lot of respect for the Georgia Classics organization.
Right.
It's been around for ages. It seems
time,
like,
actually, yeah.
and I don't even know who started it, but either way, I know the guy who runs it now, and so just a lot of great talent has come out of that organization. I think Georgia Classics is mainly based in Athens or Jefferson
That's
area.
where I was going, Athens, for sure.
I know they have a facility there.
Mhm.
Okay, so Georgia Classics, and then your former coach decided to break away from that.
Right.
And like I said, almost simultaneously when I was talking to your mom about you joining the team.
Right.
So that was already interesting. But anyway, so he decides to break away, and he's bringing over you plus like maybe 6 or 7 other girls.
Right.
And so then that sparks us starting Elite Diamonds Black. Right. That's where that came from. There was no Elite Diamonds Black before then. And the team is what it is. Like we add some new players,
Right.
we get it to where it needs to be, because I think he was like, man, I don't have any pitchers, and like this is like around this time of year, by the way.
Actually, yeah.
So I'm like, dude, where do you expect me to find some pitchers? You know.
Right.
So anyway, so we get things together, and we make it work for a little bit, and then after that, it things went separate ways. Just it wasn't a great fit.
Right.
Bottom line. So with that team, you spent how long with that group?
I want to say maybe almost a year.
Okay.
I mean, I was there for a little bit, but I mean, it's kind of all a blur to me because I feel like it all happened so fast. Because originally I came from a different organization.
Okay.
Never thought I was going to switch up my life.
Yeah.
Of course, being there, I went through some stuff. Shoulder injury, some things with just the team in general.
Sure.
And decided to make that change. And that was big for me. Like,
Yeah.
very emotional leaving the girls that I've been growing up with playing travel ball, the coaches, the families, the bonds. I mean, it was a lot different. So, I mean, I was scared to open up when I came to a new team because it was like, I don't want to feel this again. I don't want to feel heartbroken. Like, I
Right.
don't want it to change. But, I mean, coming from the classics to elite, that's when I knew I could open my heart again.
Mm.
And that's what made me make that choice of, I know I'm going to stay with elite.
Right. Because there was that period, right, what I was getting at back in November of 2022.
Yeah.
November 2022, that brand new Elite Diamonds Black team almost had it didn't almost split up, it did. And so we had that coach leave, take a few players with him, and then we kind of filled in from there and then kind of made it work. And I thought it worked pretty well, actually.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for a whole bunch of random pieces coming together,
it's pretty awesome. I'm like, thank you, God. So without trying to dim the candle of that coach or even the Georgia Classics, like I said, I have a lot of respect for the organization. Right. What do you feel worked well and then, or maybe even didn't work well when you were there and then through the growing pains of Elite Diamonds Black?
When I was there, it just felt like there was tension, kind of. And I mean, like, when there's tension, everybody can tell. Mm-hmm. Like, playing or we're not playing or we're just hanging out. Like, me personally, I'm not the kind that likes, like, separate groups when it comes to a team. And that's really what I felt like I was in, like, when I was there. Like, it felt like some people didn't agree with what was going on, or she didn't like her, or, like, this coach didn't like this coach. And it was just like, this is not what softball's about. We're on the field. We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy the game. And right now, I feel like all I was like surrounded by like nobody liking each other. And I'm like, something's going to happen in a moment. And people are going to say what they don't mean. Like, I didn't want to feel like I was walking on eggshells while I was at ball.
Right.
My whole life ball has been like an escape at times.
A safe haven.
For sure. And when I was there, it didn't really feel like it. I felt like I needed to be worried about what was going to happen next sometime. And I just didn't feel like ball to me anymore. It just felt like a worry at that point.
So, and the reason I ask that question is because I know for certain that there are listeners to our show that find themselves in that same boat, right? Having to play through that for the time that you play through it. You understand what that was like. You don't want to go back to that. Now that you're on the other side of it and you have, I know you've said this before, the love and appreciation for Elite and the organization that it is and the people in it. What does this organization mean to you, having known that it took some time to get to that?
I think that, like I said, it took me a while to open up, but once I did, my heart was filled with complete joy. The love for the game instantly showed. My attitude changed. My effort changed. My bonds with girls I've never met before, of course, like the elite girls have been playing together for a good while. But I also, like, said to Dee, I've said to you, I've said to Coach Jay, as soon as I joined, everybody made me feel welcome.
Yeah.
Nobody made me feel weird or new. Everybody just, our weirdness combined together worked. Yep. It was just amazing. Like, I know Z. I knew Z for a while. She played in the old organization with me before the Classics. Mm-hmm. And you could see she was loving it. Like, it was her first home. Like, she had never been on another travel team in my life. And me and Z get along very well. We always have. And I knew, seeing her, how I am now.
Yeah. It
was like, this is for me. Like, I'm meant to be here. And this team makes me feel like I have a purpose playing.
Yeah.
It was just great. Like, instantly, like, I swear instantly I knew. Like,
it's crazy.
This was going to be the rest of my year.
And you say instantly because it's like, again, another corny thing, but like, people talk about vibe, man. I'm like, that is such a real thing.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, if it doesn't pass the vibe check, then it doesn't fly.
And you instantly know. Like, it's a feeling. Like, if you feel like something's off, you're like, like, you shouldn't have to question it. Me, I didn't have to question nothing.
Yeah.
I was telling my parents, I know where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
For the rest of my softball career.
It's and like you said, it's an instant connection there, and you know, but like for the player out there who maybe is on the fence about where they are, so like maybe they're in a tight situation or they're in a tension filled situation. What would you say to them, or what would your advice be to them to either A, get out of that, or to B, work through it?
Well, the first thing that happened when I started feeling like that was I definitely went to my parents. Of
Okay.
course, my parents pay for my ball. They do everything. They take me everywhere, buy me the $400 bats, $500 gloves. I'm obviously going to go to them first.
Yeah.
But definitely, you have to mention how you feel, because if you don't feel comfortable doing what you're supposed to love, then you're not going to want to be doing it anymore. And it's going to suck to want to throw away what potentially could be amazing just for small things that were bothering you and you're not opening up.
Sure.
And trust me, I know the feeling of like not wanting to open up or just feeling like you need to bottle it all up. And I promise you it's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. But it's like you have to know that out there could be something better.
Yeah.
Always.
And so when you found that something better, so to speak, how did you go about embracing that? And because to me, I almost look at it kind of like a relationship where like if you were heartbroken once, it's like, man, the next guy, the next girl, I'm not going to really give her all of me type
Right.
thing, right? When you did say, okay, I'm going to embrace this, I'm going to give this new deal a shot. When you did that, how did you go about that?
I had to really just go out on a limb. I mean, give the new tribe my all,
Yeah.
know? Because if I didn't, how was I going to really know, I just had to put all my faith into it. Like, you have to trust that something's going to work to see if it fully is.
Right.
Always. Like, you can't just test drive a car and think you're going to like it. I mean, owning it is different than test driving it.
Yep.
So it's like, you just have to feel yourself completely in that position and know that that's where you're supposed to be. And that's what I did. I mean, I put myself around girls that I've never been around, coaches I've never been around, on a ball field I've never been on with the same people. And I was there.
Yeah.
And I was living in it.
In the moment.
And I was enjoying what I was doing again. Like, I wanted to come to practice every day. I wanted to practice every day, every weekend, play softball. Like, if I wasn't playing softball, I felt like, dang, like, I really wish I was on the field right now. Like, is there a tournament we can find, Like,
yeah.
just something to do. Like, I always wanted to be there.
Big. That's big. I love that, whether that's with Elite or, for some of our listeners, maybe they've found that with another organization somewhere around the country, around the world. But like when you do have that feeling of comfort and security and knowing that the girls have my back, our coaching staff,
Right.
they have my back, I have theirs.
Right.
You have that, like you said, you have that bond, that connection that is going to not only last forever, but it's going to get you through the tough moments right now, today, as well. So
Right.
I love that. So, okay, pivoting again to this season specifically, how has it prepped you for college ball, or has there been something missing this season? Describe this season for you, this basically last year of travel ball, before you go put on the big girl cleats in college.
Well, I want to say that I think this year I really realized that it's time to grow up, Avrianna. Like, you're about to go to college. Like, I want to say that the game started to mean a lot more to me than just the game, because I had felt like I had eyes on me, like, as far as like somebody could be looking at me potentially. And of course, my effort never like changes. Like, I never want to give a bad amount of effort.
Right.
I'm always wanting to give 100. And it's like this season, I looked for like the harderness when it came to you coaching me, because I have to prepare myself as far as what am I going to get in college?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to have a female coach? Am I going to have a male coach? It's a lot different for sure.
Yep.
So it's like I get the sweetness from you, but I can also get the hardship from you. And it's like, it's not ever in a bad way. It's, I want you to be better, or
Right.
I know what you can do, so I'm going to hold you to that. And that's not a bad thing ever. Same with my parents, but they do the same thing for me.
Yep.
Like, if they're upset with me because it's because they know I can do more. And it's not because, you suck today. Like, it's not like that.
No.
It's like you see what you did and now you can grow from it.
Right.
So, like, my dad always lives by, like, be better today than you were yesterday.
Mhm.
And it's like, that is so true. Like, forever I could carry that with me. Whether I'm going to college, whether I'm a mom, whether I'm a wife, whether, like, I'm being a coach eventually one day. Like, you never know, like,
Yeah.
ever.
Absolutely. And sometimes, like, you hear be better than you were yesterday. Like, sometimes that doesn't necessarily associate with your stats.
Right.
It's about your mentality a lot of times. And guys, I wanted to spend. I feel like WAP is the perfect person to have on the show to talk about the mental as well, because I feel like at the end of the day, our game is the majority mental, right? Like,
Oh, for sure.
if you really break the game of softball down, you hit, you throw, you run, you catch.
Right.
It's really that's it. But like, to do all of that, it requires mental toughness at times. It
Right.
requires, patience at times. It requires a lot of different entities that mean that you have to have a strong mental,
Right.
right, to be able to do it. And I think that you are one of the best images that I can point to of growth in that area. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because of you're from age 7 to having to play at play up
Right.
from that point on to now where you are today. And again, you're not a finished product, but you are a product that is ready
Right.
to go play at the collegiate level. And I'm so freaking excited for
I'm
you.
excited for myself. I am a little nervous.
As
Just
you
because
should be,
it's
a little bit.
a different place.
Right.
Compared to what I'm used to. I'm used to coming to Eatonton, practicing with you all
Yep.
the time. So, I mean, I know what's in for me when I'm there.
Right.
But now I'm going to a different place with different people, and I could potentially have 1 million people watching me.
Yep.
Like, it's just completely different. But the journey's beautiful, and I know it's going to be worth it, and I know I'm going to have fun. I want to make my family proud, of course. I want to make myself proud. I want to keep loving what I'm doing.
Right.
Always.
You mentioned a P word earlier a few minutes ago, and that word was purpose. And don't ever lose that, right? Because as long as your purpose is at the forefront of why you play the game, it could be 17 million people looking at you,
Right.
or it can be 17. It doesn't matter, because you play for your purpose, and whatever that is. Like, again, same thing with your tattoos. Like, they're there for a reason, they're there for a purpose.
Right.
And we also play the sport
Right.
for that reason too. So you're going to, you got something?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
So you're going to play at Point University.
I am.
Here in Georgia. For those of you who don't know where that is basically West Point, Georgia, and it is the furthest west you can get in Georgia, because like
sure.
half of the campus is in
Literally in Alabama.
Yeah, it's
five
like
steps.
Central Time is half the
Yep.
campus, Eastern Time
beautiful,
zone is the other half, but it is a beautiful city.
Very.
And I'm looking forward to making many trips over to see you play, and everywhere else. You're going to be playing with a former teammate, Kinsey. And we got to have her silly self on the show as well at some point. But you guys have heard me and Dee Dee talk about Kinsey as well on the show. Tell me about that. Like, speak to the excitement. Yes, you're a little nervous because it's a different place, and the pace of the game may be a little bit of a step up, but the game itself is the same.
Right.
Tell me about the excitement surrounding going to play at that level, and also just going to be a student in college as well. Like, that's another piece to it.
Well, I mean, you knew my visit journey. I mean, my visit, of course, I wasn't looking to be some big D1 player. I was going to play for the biggest school in the world. I was looking for a home where I could see myself for the next 4 years, where I knew I was going to be comfortable, where I love the environment. I mean, I've always been taught when I'm looking for a school, do you love the weather? Do you love the area? Do you like the traffic? Do you like how far you are from home? Like, the smallest things that people don't obviously think about when they think they want to go big.
Right.
I went on a couple visits. They were nice. Like, the schools were nice. The coaches are great. Every coach that I've went on a visit with, amazing. Love the personality. Love how they talk to me like I'm their own already.
Yep.
Of course, I've had a couple coaches saying, like, you look good in our uniform. Like, they're trying to persuade me to come over,
As they should.
But those are the funny moments that I love. But I don't know. Point was my last visit that I was going on. Every other visit I went with my parents. This one I didn't. I went with my friend. And
You
I know.
drove through Atlanta traffic.
Oh yeah, that was something for sure. But I mean, it was good that I did though, so I can
Yep.
get used to it, of course. But I knew going into looking for colleges, I didn't want anything huge. I don't want to be in a classroom where a professor doesn't ever know my name.
Mhm.
I don't want to be somewhere where I feel like it's just a party school. Like I want to be able to learn. I need to focus, of course, because it's not just about softball. It's about the education, the 40 years after school.
Yep.
So I walk into the building. This lady's, trying to figure out how to say my name. She's great. She's just funny. She's trying to figure out how to say my friend's name. And, we're waiting for the tour guide to come get us. And he finally gets us. And we start walking. Like, we're in this building. Like, off, like, the looks of this building, I didn't think it was the school at all.
Yeah.
Like, it literally just looked like a building. Nice building, newer. And he starts walking us through these halls. And I'm like, this is the school?
So big.
Like, this is great. Like, this is amazing. Like, I'm looking at my friend and we're looking at each other and I'm like, dude, I love this. And I was like, I didn't intend on making my decision today, like, truly, but I think I can.
Yep.
And the guy that was giving us a tour, he was actually in the major that I plan on going down, which is psychology. And he was just, gassing up the major. Might have been just because he wanted me to go there. Like, he's trying to sell his school, of course, but I do believe that the program's great. I mean, he said that all the counselors, every professor, very communicative, like very. And I mean, Kinsey's told me the school's great too. And
Mhm.
for Kinsey to say that, it means a lot to me because
Yep.
like, me and Kinsey are on the same wavelength sometimes. So it's like I know that she's not going to lie to me or just try to sell the school to me.
Sure.
So I mean, after my visit, like after seeing the scenery, I mean everything's local, everything's walking distance. I mean they have food on the campus, they have a Starbucks in there, like. They got a Chick-fil-A
Oh, boy.
coming, that really sold me too.
Oh,
So,
Yep, that's rough.
but yeah, right after my visit, I just knew like, this is my home.
Yeah, when we talked on the phone.
Oh yeah,
On
you're
your
the
way-
first person I called.
On your way home, I'm like, after we hung up, I'm like, all right, that's where she's going. I had no doubt about it at that point.
When
So,
I did call like you and my mom and my dad, I mean, everybody was like, my dad instantly asked me, he's like, so what are we doing, Wap? And I'm like, we're gonna go to Point.
Yeah.
This is it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I hang up the phone and I'm sitting in the car with my friend back in silence, driving through traffic again. And I'm like, wow, this is it. Like, I did it.
Yeah.
I actually am here now. Like, life is becoming this big picture I've been looking for since I was 17-year-old playing, or 7 years old playing with
Yeah.
the big old players. Like, now I'm where I wanted to be. And I just can't wait.
It's a dream, man. And no matter, as a coach, right, no matter how many people you help get to that level or whatever, like, those numbers are fun to say or whatever, but like, everyone is its own journey.
Right.
And so every time it happens, I relive it
Yeah.
with you.
It's like on replay.
Yes, it is. And so like every time it's like, wow, I'm dreaming with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I know what you've put into it. And for those of you out there who are trying your hardest to get to the next level and you're, maybe you have people that you're relying on to help get you there, or maybe you're trying to do it on your own. Like there's a recipe for it that we can share later today. I know I've shared kind of a general sense of that on the show previously, but to get to that point, Wap, for you and then be celebrated,
Right.
to me is there's nothing beats that. And I think when you're able to fulfill that dream, because that is a big one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was excited. The next day we're leaving for OKC, and I'm wearing my Point University
Yes.
shirt that I got, and I'm like, guess what, guys?
Yep.
Everybody's committing. I've been feeling late to the process, and then I'm like, you know what? I wasn't late.
Nope.
I just wasn't finding what I was really looking for yet. And when I did, I know I did. It instantly clicked.
And I know it's tough. It's tough for the majority of the families out there where,
Right.
Now again, it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't tough for me. It was tough for me to see the anxiety at times, obviously, and whatnot. But the entire time, I'm like, be patient.
Right.
It'll come, and you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
And you did, obviously. And so, but like, understanding for those of you who are listening, like, when you achieve that dream and you celebrate it, like I hope, like for WAP obviously, and for those of you who are out there trying to do that, like when it happens, man, celebrate the heck out of it.
Oh yeah, don't take it for
Because
granted.
there is such a small percentage of people who get to go on and play another 4 years.
It's huge. I mean, it's huge. That is something you can carry on and tell stories about when you're 40.
Yep.
Like it's big. Like not a lot of people can say, and I don't mean it in a bad way because I mean not everybody goes to college. Sometimes it's not made for everybody.
Yep.
But you can share your experiences and your stories with so many people, and so many people will be willing to listen that you never even expect, and they'll love the stories. I mean, they'll basically feel like they were there with you.
Yep.
You know, sometimes people just need that good kind of talk. You know.
That's it. They need to know the stories. And here's one thing I'll say before we take one more break, because I know we've been a little long with it. That's okay. But in the business world, I was, from a sales standpoint, I've always been taught stories sell, facts tell, right? But stories sell.
Oh, for sure.
And the reason I know that to be true is simply because I'm in the financial services world, so numbers are all around me.
Of course.
Right? And I can show a client, hey, here are the numbers, here's what it can, here's what can happen for you over the next 45 years or whatever. But then I tell a story of a similar family that has been through that same journey. And I'm saying their by name or whatever, and I'm able to connect with them on that level.
Right.
And then it triggers, okay, I can see myself in Johnny's shoes. I can see myself in Amy's shoes. Oh, he's got 2 kids as well. Same thing, not in the sales world.
Right.
Where stories resonate with people. Right?
Always.
Sure. WAP's batting over 400 for the year, which is awesome. I'm proud of that for you.
Thank you.
But to also know where WAP's come from at this point, like her journey at this point from a 7-year-old playing up in the 11 and 12-year-olds and having to go through some growing pains with multiple teams and finding her forever home. Why she is comfortably batting at that level now, right? Because she feels comfortable in her own skin. She feels comfortable with the people around her. The people around her love her to death. Number one right here after her parents. And kind of, again, the journey. So again, I say all that to say, be willing to share your story with other people and be willing to listen to people's stories. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I agree. I think telling and listening could potentially change someone's life. Always.
That's why this podcast exists. So,
yep.
Anyway, we're gonna take a break, and after this, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. She's gonna give you guys some advice, actually, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit more. We'll have a little bit of fun, and we'll wrap up the show. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the show once again. I hope you've been enjoying this conversation. Obviously, you're getting some softball, but you're getting a lot of just real deep stuff, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. And I think I don't think I promised you guys at the onset, so forgive me, but that is a promise. I knew you were going to get that with WAP being on the show. And also, we've referenced her name, or you've referenced it, like you talked about the Point University person trying to pronounce it. So obviously, we said before, like her first name's Avrianna, last name is Wapniewski.
Yeah.
And you said that is Korean?
It's actually Polish.
Polish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where that comes from. My dad's side. It's a unique one for
sure. It's definitely a unique one for sure. So, all right. So let's talk about. So you're crazy. You're a legit college player. Which is wild.
It's crazy for me to say too.
Legit college player. You're heading there. I mean, my gosh, like this time next year, you would have wrapped up your freshman campaign.
Right.
And I don't know. Who knows where you'll be in the summer? Maybe trying to get some rest or something like that before you head off to school again. But I want to talk about your swing because I love your swing. Now, maybe not necessarily about your approach at the plate. Like for those of you who don't know Wap, her approach at the plate is she does not get work deep counts at all. She's very aggressive early in the count, and she's very good at that. So, but the swing itself, though, all right. If you maybe are breaking this down to your 7-year-old self, right? The swing, the basics of the swing. If you're trying to teach a lesson to that person verbally, where do you start and how do you go through that?
Well, as far as like talking to my younger version of myself, the first thing I would tell myself is relax.
Sure.
Don't stress. And something I've learned recently is don't be scared of that first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be. Because I think pitchers low-key like anticipate people to not like the first pitch, so that's the baddest one they throw. And it's beautiful, trust me. I've been in moments where you're like, first pitch, take it. And I'm like, you're like, was it a strike? And I'm like, it was the biggest strike of my
Okay,
life.
we gotta say why I ask you to take those a lot of times.
Just to get a feel of what's happening, what she's like. And is she crazy? Is she fast? Is it the speed? Is it the movement?
Right.
I mean, I agree. Like, it's a good thing to take the first pitch.
Or if we got EJ on first base, we're
Yep.
maybe trying to steal the base or whatever, and we don't want contact while she's trying to steal or whatever. Right. But yes, I got you. Carry on. Sorry.
But definitely a main thing that I learned as far as my swing personally, growing up and getting older, was my eyes always had to stay on the ball. If they weren't on the ball, even to this day, you know, sometimes my head tends to float off. But if your eyes aren't on the ball, you're 99% of the ball, either not going to hit it right or you're not going to hit it at all. And then you're going to look really silly when they're like, why did you strike out? And it's like, because I pulled my head out, you know. And it's like a common mistake. Like, sometimes you don't feel it. Like, as you as a coach watching me play, I mean, you can see the mistakes I make, and maybe I don't feel them.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I'm hearing, so then I can try to correct it. But, I mean, that's one of the big things. And then rolling over was another problem for me for a while, or just casting out in general. Because when I was younger, I didn't really know what my pitch was, what I wanted.
Okay.
And that's also, like, another thing. You have to know what you're looking for when you go up there. You got to know the situation you're in. Are there 2 outs? Is there 1 out? Are we in a situation where we need to score? Do we need to score a tying run? Do we need to get up by a lot? You know? And it's like, it sounds like so much to think about in the moment.
Sure.
But it's like, when you're playing, that all is so important to you because you want to be able to get the job done. Not for yourself, but for your team.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, being a hitter for, I wouldn't know exactly how long we're up to bat for, but it's like, that time goes by so fast.
Oh, yeah.
And it can change so quickly. And it's like, you may have the best hit in the world. You could have just hit a home run, or you could have just hit a line drive to the first baseman and she makes a great catch. But you know what you did? You went up there, you gave it your all, and you had fun doing it. And you knew what you were looking for. You were ready. You knew what you were going to do. You knew your approach. And, I mean, can't really do more than that, really.
No. And you kind of rattled off, like, the things you got to know, right?
Right.
Those obviously aren't things that you learn overnight.
Right.
You learn them with experience.
Oh, for sure.
Of course, right? As the game kind of, your game rather develops, you kind of understand different situations and different scenarios.
Right.
And then with your swing, I love that you mentioned, like, understanding what your pitch is.
Right.
Because your pitch is different than mine.
Right.
And maybe different than somebody else's. And when you say that, though, can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Like, for the younger person, like, what does that mean, your pitch? Because in a younger person's mind, if I'm trying to put myself in the younger person's mind, I'm like, okay, well, are you saying like a fastball? Or like, what does that mean?
Right. So as far as when I think of my pitch, my first thought is going to be location.
Okay.
So if I know, because of course I always want my teammates to communicate with me, even since I was young. I want my teammate that just hit before me or that just scored, tell me what the pitcher's throwing. She might be throwing an outside ball. I don't like that. But how am I going to adjust to that pitch so I can figure something to do for myself?
Right.
I don't want to just go up there and be like, oh, she's throwing what I don't like. I know I'm going to get out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where am I looking to hit the ball? Where do I know I can hit the ball at? Or what can I do to hit the ball that I might not like?
Sure.
Because, I mean, you can't just go up to bat and tell the pitcher, hey, I want you to throw this. I mean,
Please.
You never know. If we could, it would all be easy.
Yeah.
We'd all be hitting bombs every day.
That's right.
But, I mean, you have to work with what you have. And you have to know what you're going to work with. So knowing that pitch is just like, where do I want this pitch? Where do I need to look? Where do I not need to look?
Right.
I know what I'm the best at. I know what my weakness is. And I also need to take my weakness and use it to my advantage. Always.
Absolutely. And so, and again, I love that you mentioned that, because at the level that you're going to, we have this beautiful thing called a scouting report.
Right.
Right. And they're going to know that WAP is really solid here, and maybe she has a cold zone here and here. So that's where pitchers are going to throw.
Always.
Therefore, right, what do you work on the most, right, is that cold zone pitch, so that you know that if that's where pitchers are going to attack you, you can use your weakness to advantage.
And honestly, like, when you do know that you have a weak point, and people say, like I said, practice makes improvement. Don't just practice what you're good at. Practice what you're not good at, because that is exactly what everybody's looking to get you with.
Right.
And then when they try to throw it at you, it's like, oh, she can do it. Like, you never know. Let everything you do move in silence.
Yep.
Let people unexpect everything. And it's just great, because it's like, I could be playing against you in a game and I'm throwing you the worst pitch I thought you could have hit, and you just take me 365 deep. Like,
Sure.
like, it's just crazy. Like, you never know.
Yep.
And that's literally the element of surprise. Like,
that's right.
Always work on what you don't think people think you're working on. And you don't even have to make it known that you're working on it. You know yourself, and that's what counts.
100%. So speaking of element of surprise, let's go to your base running for a second, because those of you know you're not going to have breakneck speed.
Oh, no.
Right? However, I feel like you're a really good base runner, largely because of your IQ and other things. But tell us why you feel like you're a solid base runner, and you steal bases, right? Whether they're straight steals, delayed steals, whatever. But you take the extra base, and you're part of it. I know is because of our aggressive nature as a team.
Right.
But for you specifically, what works for you on the base paths, and what makes you such an effective base runner?
So, as far as base running, of course, I gotta come to accept that I'm not fast. And
Sure.
that's fine, because
Yeah.
I honestly would take my IQ over being fast and not having any IQ
Oh God.
all day. All day.
Every day.
I'd rather steal and make it safe than steal and know I'm out and then look like a fool, you
Yep.
know? But it's just like, when I'm base running, I'm looking for the smallest mistakes. Is the catcher bobbling the ball? Is the pitcher not paying attention when she's catching the ball? You know? Things like that. Can I get a big enough lead for the catcher to want to throw it back and I'm straight going? Or is it like, can my leadoff look like I'm about to steal and I'm really not? And she throws it down anyways. They make a bad throw. I'm there already. Like, the small things that nobody's really thinking of all the time is like what matters, because literally the game can change so quick.
Yeah.
And it's like not even in just softball. Like, I've watched football. Football can change in a matter of seconds. Any sport can. Like, anything can change. And it's just great, because anything can happen in it. You don't know at all. Like, ever. It's great. But base running is definitely more IQ over speed, for sure. You have to know what you're looking for. What do I need to pay attention to? I always need to be looking for signs. I always need to be watching the pitcher and catcher. Like, I always need to watch if it's a pop fly. Do I need to tag up? Like, things like that. Do I know that my speed's not fast enough that I can outrun certain throws? Like, just simple things that need to be known always. Like, paying attention to those things.
Absolutely. And I feel like your anticipation is always very good. And I feel like that makes you a really good base runner. And so what I like to call you in the coaching circles is sneaky fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, okay, fine, she's not going to beat you with the speed of players that we've mentioned on the show earlier, EJ or Rope or whatever, or Shea. But if you take your off of her, if you will, because she's rolling. She's rolling.
They might not think I'm fast. They know how smart I am.
That's right.
So it's like, did she just steal?
Yeah.
Did she just run on a changeup that dropped on the floor first? You never know.
That's it.
I'll surprise you.
Part of it. That's part of it. So, okay. So speaking of just your abilities, I was able to have the honor to share with you last week that you earned the title of MVP of our team. So
I was shocked.
At first thought, shocked. Okay.
Oh,
so
for sure. When I read the text, I was literally in the car, the day before 4th of July, I think,
Mhm.
actually. So I'm hanging out with my sister and her friends. We're about to go watch some fireworks, grill, eat. And I'm reading the text, and I'm like, at first, the first thing I see is the emojis. So I'm like, oh goodness, like, what's so funny? And I'm reading the text, and all I see is MVP, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm not a selfish player.
Yep.
Of course, for anybody watching, of course, like, always have confidence. Confidence is so much key, and I learned that literally growing up playing softball, is that your confidence can carry you so far. And there's obviously a fine line between cocky and confident.
Yep.
And it was like, when you told me that, I was just like, is it me for real? Like, it could be so many other players on our team. If we had an MVP award for everybody, I think everybody could get it.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our players are beautiful, like mechanics, attitude, effort, all of it. Like, we just have such a strong team. So I was just like, wow, like it's me, it's Wap. Like,
Yeah.
it just made me feel good, even better. It made me think, I need to go do this more in college too.
Yeah.
I can do more of this.
Absolutely. And you know, the cool thing about it, and because envy, I'm a straightforward guy, so
Right.
you know, I can love you to the moon and back, which I do. But that's got nothing to do with it.
Right.
You know, it's got everything to do with your production on the field.
Right.
And because we have attitude awards, we have awards for other things. But when we talk about value, right, that is truly a production thing.
Right.
Right. Does it have something a little bit to do with your ability to lead others and to be that as well? Yes, but a lot of it has to do with just simple producing, like you producing for the team, and it's just crazy, man. I wish I'd written down the stats in front of me, but I know I'm gonna post them later actually. But it's to watch you work even on your worst days, right, which are few and far between. You were still finding a way to produce for the team,
Right.
and I think that is huge for people to understand that. Fine, you may not be 3 for 4 with 3 doubles today or a home run or what have you, but you got the sack fly, so you still ended the day with multiple RBIs.
Right.
Right. You laid the bunt down occasionally. Right. You're putting the ball in play and not striking out with runners in scoring position.
Right.
There, which I talked about that. I had a whole segment last week on that. So, like, there were things that you would do there offensively that would still produce for the team all year long,
Right.
fall and spring. Defensively, a staple.
Well, I was just about to say, these last couple of tournaments, I mean, for me, it kind of felt like the last 2 or 3, it felt like it was either I was on hitting or I was on fielding.
Mm-hmm.
And, last year, Gala, I received the Golden Glove Award, which I was surprised about that, too, because I was like, there's no way.
I really don't know why you're surprised about that one, though, I'll be honest with you.
I
But
surprised myself a lot, but, I feel like one's on, one's off. So, I mean, last tournament, it was my hitting. My hitting, I felt like it was on. And, I just had a conversation with Kinsey about college, and she's like, the main thing that you want to know you can do when you step into college is you can hit before you can field. She was like, hitting can only be taught so far, but fielding can be taught more. So it's like hitting is so important. So like that was going into that tournament, that was my main focus. Like, okay, let me lock in here. Let me know that I need to focus on this. But the tournament before that, it was opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the best hitting. I had here and there hits or my little dinky hits that I get on with, but I was catching.
Yep.
Catching has been great to me. I love it. It's a great experience. I love it. But it's like that's not even my position. But I felt like I was a freaking rock star back there. We had runners, bases loaded, and I'm not letting a ball get past me.
Yep.
And I'm not even a catcher.
Nope.
But I feel like I'm doing amazing. And my parents are telling me, and people are like, when people see me suit up before the games, they're like, "Wap, you're catching?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I am."
What is wrong with your coach?
Just gotta have faith in them sometimes.
That's it.
You never know.
And I think that's such a cool thing. Like, that also contributed to us as a staff deciding to go the MVP route for you too, because it's and again, like you said, we could say this about a lot of our players, but throwing that on you that way. Now again, obviously we we took a second to take a look at it in practice,
Right.
and then you put it into play in a game, and it's like, oh, okay.
And it
Fair
really
enough.
did show. I think it was it last tournament? Maya hurt her thumb,
Yes.
and it was like we looked at Coco. Coco doesn't have her gear with her right now. Instantly, I'm like, I got you. Running in there,
Yep.
with the mix of everything going on this tournament. The game we're in is kind of tight. Like
We were down.
emotions are flying everywhere. We cannot give anything up right now. I think who was pitching might have been Mac or
Was it
Mo.
Mac or Mo? I can't remember.
It was one of them. I want to say Mac came in after that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were the only two pitchers we had that day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, a different setup. A lot just happened, so we just need to focus on what's going on right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, focus on the batter,
Yep.
And it was just like, it showed how things can change so fast, but also how much we have each other. Like,
Yep.
the diversity of all of our players, I believe, can play a lot of positions.
Oh my gosh, that's the biggest blessing ever.
You see Rope at freaking second base.
Yep.
You can see Kira at first base. You can see Maya shortstop when she's a great catcher. You see Coco everywhere on the field. Kinsey all over the field. We have so much utility there that it's great. So it's like we don't ever feel like we have to worry in the sense of if something happens, like I know I got somebody, she's got somebody, you know? And it was just great. Like that was the perfect prime example of like we got each other's backs.
Right. Because to me, I mean, and when you have utility players on your ball club, that puts your players, in my opinion, in a position to where they never have to have too much pressure on themselves.
Right.
Because they know they're not the last line of defense at that spot. Right. You're not our only third baseman. Maya's not our only catcher. Mac's not our only pitcher. We have versatility there and players who can do it well. Right. And I think that's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And like we've had aspects where like, of course, we're growing up, we're in high school. Some of our players have prom. I've had prom. I missed a tournament. And trust me, I've never done it. So it's a little different. But it's like I'm in the spot where I know I don't have to worry that my team isn't going to go out there and do their job. Yeah. Because I know that someone else is going to fill my position and do amazing.
Yeah.
I have all the faith in everybody. I mean, y'all went out and won that tournament I had for prom. Like, y'all did great. And, like, I didn't have to question that. I went out to my prom that night, had fun, and then I looked back the next day and, wow, my team won. Like, that's amazing. I knew they could do it. And that was just a great feeling,
It is. So talking about that for a second, because I feel like there was a time in your career where, you weren't necessarily given the opportunity to be great. Specifically, 9 to 10 months ago in school ball.
Oh yeah.
Right, where you weren't even in the starting lineup.
Wasn't even on varsity.
Wasn't even on varsity, right? As a senior, right? Which and here's the thing, I love. And it's behind it. It's history now.
Yeah.
But I love this part of your story because here you are on, to me, what I would say a loaded travel ball team with 9 girls going to play college ball next year.
Oh, I agree. We would have came out and played my high school ball team. Would have been
okay. Well, I wasn't going there.
But I'm just saying it would have been great. Like we definitely do have a great team, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not just a little ball team like that just plays iffy.
Sure.
It's not.
So you're on a really good team. You're playing with collegiate level ball players.
Right.
You win MVP. 9 months ago, you're not even on the field.
Right.
Right. Talk me through that a little bit, because that's now a part of your story where, man, and not to poo-poo your high school. I know you probably could, but I won't. Okay. But you say whatever you want to say on that front.
I mean,
but either way,
senior night, you've seen
I
what
did.
you had to say. But it's okay.
I did. But again, my point is 9 to 10 months ago, though, you weren't given that opportunity to be great.
Right.
You've been in the everyday lineup every day.
Right.
In travel ball of this year, and here you are capping off the season as an MVP of the squad. You can hang your hat on that forever. Talk me through that.
Well, like you said, my freshman, my junior, my sophomore year, I was on JV.
Mm-hmm.
I was technically a swing player. And, every year tryouts.
I don't know. People don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So swing player is like you're on varsity and JV.
Okay.
But, I didn't even see the field as being that. So it was like every year tryouts came, the results came. My heart was broken, I was hurt. But I knew that, like always, my mom asked me, like, are you done? Do you want to be done? I'm like, no. Because one time somebody's going to see something and know, dang, we should have given her a chance.
Yep.
And that happened on my senior night. Besides me leaning into a pitch. But.
Yes. Pissed me off.
No. You just had to be there with this, but it was a crappy situation. But anyways.
Oh, man.
Coming from a program that destroyed my confidence and destroyed part of my love for the game sucked. I came home from practices. Oh gosh, I want to cry. But I would come home from high school practices crying. I felt like I wanted to quit at points, and it just sucked because it was like I never wanted to feel like that. Not for something I've been doing for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And it was just like I kept telling myself, like, don't let this destroy you. Let it build you. And it was like my senior night came when I became a senior, and I played, I did good. We won 17-0. I got to see the people I loved. And then it was like after I got out of softball from the program, it's like the people that didn't see me for who I was started talking to me. And like when I committed and I made the announcement on Instagram, it was like all these people saying congratulations to me. And I'm like, I wish you guys would have been able to meet WAP and not Avrianna in high school. Because you guys didn't get to see what you guys get to see. And that sucks because it's like, I promise I'm not mean. I mean, I may look upset that I'm not playing, but it's because it's so hard for me. I'm the type of softball player that watches softball and I want to be out there doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to just watch, especially like there's girls on my high school team that love to death, still talk to them this day, And it's hard for me to see them have fun and I'm not because these coaches aren't giving me a chance. And I'm getting older. My career's about to be over and I haven't touched the field before. Like it's just hard, And it's like we went to state, we made it like 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row. Like it was hard for me to celebrate in the moment when I wish I was a part of the moment, like I am with you guys. Like I'm always gonna jump up and down for our team because I feel welcomed. I feel like everybody loves me. I feel like I belong there. And there, I didn't feel like that. So it was just a lot harder, but I just didn't want to wear it too much in front of everybody because I didn't want everybody to be like, that's why she's not there,
Right.
But it was just like, people knew where I was coming from because it was like, I would tell people, like, they would be like, oh, how's high school going for you? And I'm like, I don't play. I play on JV. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, I don't ever brag about myself on that, ever. Like, I would never tell you. People ask me, are you a good player? You have to come watch me. I'm personally not going to judge myself. I'm going to let you say what you think.
Yeah, use your eyes.
So it was just like it was an interesting journey and it sucked and it broke my heart and it shattered me in many ways. I mean, it just caused a lot on me emotionally, especially being so young. It's like taking all that in is so hard because it just keeps breaking you, breaking you, breaking you. But it made me a better woman and it made me a better player.
Yeah.
For sure. And, I would never say anything mean to the coaches or the program or anything.
Nope.
And like I said in my senior speech that played that night, I want to say thank you to Appalachia softball,
Yeah.
Like, you made me who I am, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah. I think that, and I don't like to see you try to cry because I'm...
It's a touchy subject because of how it got me so much.
And that's why I wanted to kind of go there because I know that there's others out there who are in your boat.
Right.
And I know there's also others out there, though, that have the potential to be in that boat, but also 9-10 months later, they're MVP of a squad that could have had 10 MVPs.
And that's like the part where I said, move in silence, If you are in that position right now, like, please don't let it get bad. Like, please don't let it destroy who you are. Because, like I said before, there's always room for improvement. Even if you aren't the best player and you're not being given the chance, you can become the best player that they wish they would have given a chance or would have worked with or would have seen where y'all could have gone together. I mean, like, it's the big things. Like, it's just not everybody has to see how you feel, but how you're going to work, you know?
Yep. That's it. You are a spitting image of all the players out there around the world who have a burning desire, burning passion to play this game to the best of their abilities, whatever that best looks like, right? You are that. And the thing that I commend you the most, and I think this is a severe understatement, is your mental toughness through that process.
Right.
Because in my opinion and an experience of watching others, that hurt and potential anger and whatever those pent up emotions, right, could have very easily bled right into your travel ball scene.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And you could have come in and you could have just been
Mean.
Avrianna still.
Right.
Right. In the sense that you just said. But it didn't. Right.
Right.
One, because I know that you knew the environment that you were going to be in. Literally, I remember you driving to, I guess, second round of state or first round, whatever it was. Maybe that's first round because
so,
the way it works. But we had practice that night, and I forgot that you were going to state that night. And I remember thinking, I wish he was here at practice with us. Selfishly,
it's okay.
might I say, because I knew what you were dealing with at that time.
Right.
But I'm so glad you weren't here with us. I'm so glad that you were in that position because, again, that's what made you who you are today.
Right.
Right. That's part of the saying on the first tattoo, right? The hardships. And you are better because of it. And you are mentally stronger. You're mentally tougher because of that. And, might be the first to say I'm proud of you for earning this MVP award.
Thank you.
So
I know that, like I said, if you're going through it, just push through it because you'll look back and say like everything was all meant to be, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, whether your name's Wap or not, are you me? Are we in different shoes? Are you in better shoes? You know, always take into consideration that there's always someone else looking for the chance that you were given at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave me that that chance, of course.
Sure.
You've always seen potential in me, like coming from you, like you said, I could have came to our practice and still been Avrianna instead of Wap. But it was like I knew that I had worth here, and then there I knew it was different. But I didn't want my attitude to change because it was like even the days where I didn't want to be at those 4-on-1s, the workouts, the high school practice or the high school outings, stuff like that with the team, I still showed up because it still meant that I was a part of that team.
Right.
Whether the girls didn't talk to me, whether the coaches didn't talk to me, I still wore the jersey, put on the uniform, and went out there. Like I gave it 110%.
That's
you know, my parents still showed up to the games. They watched, they cheered on, not even their own kids, not even kids that they know fully. And, you know, it just shows like you want to be a part of what you're doing.
Right.
But it's like, even when you're not given the chance, don't let up.
Absolutely.
Don't let up. Because the things that you think that go unrecognized, somebody recognizes.
Absolutely. And that's going to be my last message before we take this last quick break here. And I promise on the other side of the break, we'll have a lighter note.
Oh, yeah.
But, it'll be, anyway, my note on that front is that even when you're player number 15 on a roster of 15 in terms of skill set or opportunities to get reps or what have you, you go out there and you compete your ass off.
Right.
You go out there and you have a team first mentality. And you continue to do everything you possibly can do to be of value to the team. Because whether your number is called on that team or the one after that, in WAP sense, the one after that was her travel ball team. And her number got called a lot this year. Be ready for that moment. And don't allow the trials and the tribulations, the hardships, all those things get so stockpiled to where you're not ready
Right.
for the moment when your number's called. So, anyway, we're going to take one more quick break, guys, and we're going to come back in. Got a quick surprise for you, really, I guess. An
For
opportunity,
us too.
I guess. Yeah, for us too. We don't really know how this is going to go.
Great.
But maybe an opportunity for you to laugh a little bit as we wrap up the show. So, we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the show one last time. Just want to have a little bit of fun as we wrap up. I've actually never played this.
I've actually never played this either.
I've seen it before.
I've seen it, but
We
I've
actually
never
saw
played
it in OKC.
Yep, the teammates playing.
So this is called the Whisper Challenge. So here's how we're going to play this out. All right, I'm going to give her 1 minute to guess the phrase that I'm saying. And so I'm going to give her 5 phrases. She'll get 2 points per phrase that she gets right. And we'll see how many points she can gather. And then we'll flip that right around. I'm going to suck at this, I know. But and so she's going to try to do the same for me. So you ready for this?
I'm going to try my best. Got to give it all the effort.
All right. So she's going to throw music in her headphones. And then we're going to go. Here we go. All right, y'all. She can't hear a thing I'm saying. This is great.
I can't hear you at all. I don't even know if I'm talking loud.
You're good. All right, here we go. Awkward silence. Awkward silence.
It looks like you said astronaut.
No. Awkward silence.
Go again.
Awkward. Oh my gosh.
It's like your lips aren't moving at all.
They are moving.
It's like you're like.
Okay. Awkward silence.
Okay. Is it one word?
2 words.
2 words.
Yes. First word, awkward.
Auto?
No. Awkward.
Awkward.
Yes.
Yes.
Second word, silence. Silence.
Texting?
No. Awkward silence.
Oh.
It was awkward silence.
Oh my goodness. Literally. If you had music on and you were trying to read that word, it was like, I don't even know what I thought it was like auto texting or something, and I was like,
when you said
weird.
Astronaut, that tripped me out. That's hilarious.
So weird.
All right, guys, here we go. This one is chicken dance. Here we go. 2 words. Chicken dance.
Jersey something?
No.
Go again.
First word. Chicken.
Chicken.
Yes. Second word. Dance.
Stick.
Dance.
Dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chicken dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Very nice. This one, guys, is epic fail. Here we go. This is this whole segment, really. All right. First word. Epic. Epic.
Guppy?
Epic.
Happy?
No. Epic.
Helping?
No. Epic. Like, really awesome. Epic.
Opening?
No. Okay. Second word. Fail.
Feral?
No. Fail.
Sad?
Fail. Fail.
One more time.
Fail.
Fail?
Yes. Yes. Okay, that was the second word. Oh, dang it.
What was it?
Epic fail.
Oh my goodness. Epic. I was like, celebration?
Guppy?
Like you said guppy, I swear.
Here we go. All right. 2 words. Pillow fight.
First word.
First word. Pillow. Pillow. Pillow.
Pillow.
Yes. Second word, fight.
Fist.
Fight.
Fighting. Pillow fighting.
Pillow fight. Yes. 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 All right. Last one, guys. This one is silly goose, which is what she is. All right. Here we go. Two words. Silly goose.
Say lick. Do it again.
First word. Silly.
I don't know what you're saying.
Silly.
Crazy?
No, kinda.
Insane?
No, silly. Ha 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 ha.
Laughing? Giggling?
Silly.
Giggling. No?
Okay, second word. Goose.
Use?
Goose.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Chicken?
No. Goose.
Goose?
Yes. Okay, first word. Silly.
Silly?
Yes.
Silly goose.
Yes. Let's go.
Perfect
Let's
timing.
go.
Swing. Hey, this is the old
I
school.
love this song.
Okay.
Am I talking too loud?
A little bit, just a little. But you're good. You're good. You're good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm jamming out over here, boy. I am good.
Okay. Okay. So the first word. First word.
First word.
Bubble.
What?
Bubble.
Bubble?
Yes. Yes. Second word. Trouble. Trouble.
I swear you're saying stripper.
Oh my god. Trouble.
Trouble.
Yes. Yes.
Bubble trouble.
Yes. Got
Let's
that.
go.
Talking about I ain't got high expectations.
Yo, she's got Chris Brown playing in my ears right now. Boy, big fan.
Jamming. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. First word. Cheeky.
What?
Cheeky.
Chicken?
No. Cheeky. Cheeky.
Cheeks.
No. Cheeky. You're close.
Engine.
No. Cheeky.
This first word?
Yes. Cheeky.
Cheeky.
Yes. Yes. Monkey.
Butt?
Monkey.
Buckets.
No. Monkey.
Bunny.
Monkey.
I feel so dumb.
Monkey.
Bucky.
You're close. Monkey.
Button. That's right.
He was closer than he went away.
Dang it,
Aw.
man. What was it?
It was cheeky monkey.
Oh my gosh, monkey. I was in the B section the whole time.
Okay, first word. Happy.
Happy.
Accident.
Antics?
No. You're on the right track. Accident.
Happy.
Accident.
Happy auntie?
Accident.
Acting.
No. Accident.
I swear you just added some syllables. What?
Accident. Accident.
And okay, I'm not even close.
No.
Dang it.
Accident. Accident, like whoops. Like
Accident.
Yes.
Happy accident.
Yes.
Woo! Let's go.
Okay.
I almost started singing.
Starts blowing.
Gotta edit this part out.
You ready?
Yep.
Wacky. First word, wacky.
Whale.
Wacky.
Wake.
Wacky.
Whitey.
Wacky. Like wacky, like weird, like
Why?
wacky. No, wacky.
Like why?
He says like why, and then like I'm like no, and he's like,
Are you
why?
talking about me?
Wacky, wacky, like crazy, like
Wild?
close, wacky. Wacky.
I feel like you're saying Y-E.
Wacky.
So it's like close to wild?
Yes.
Crazy?
Think of another W word.
Has a W?
Yes. Wacky.
Oh,
Wacky.
the song's going off. And the timer.
It was wacky. Wacky racers was the word.
What? That word is not even in my vocabulary. I don't ever use the word wacky.
But whitey is? I've never.
I didn't know what you're talking about. I was trying to put it together.
Okay.
This is the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one.
I got 2 right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tie it up. Oh, I gotta get this one.
I don't know if you're gonna get this
Oh
one.
my gosh. Why did you pick it? Alright, anyway.
Because the other ones are like weird too, though.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Alright, fair enough. Here we go.
This might be some
I got
different
this.
type of music, by the way. Just so you know.
Okay. You're not gonna give me Chris Brown again? That's good.
Okay. Good?
Who?
Are you good? Okay. First word. Zippy.
I love how you have me listen to Spanish music right now. This is great. Okay, sorry. I'm locked in. Here we go.
Zippy. He's not gonna get this because it's not a real word.
Simpy?
Close. Zippy. Zippy. Think about this. Like in jeans. Zippy.
Oh, zippy.
There you go. Why am I helping you?
What?
Zebra.
Zippy zipper?
No. Zebra.
Zimmer?
Zebra. Zebra. Zebra.
Zippa.
Zebra.
Zippy.
Zebra.
It starts with a C? A Z?
Yeah.
Starts with a Z?
Yeah.
Zippy's. Zebra!
Yeah. No!
Let's go!
Literally the last second.
Let's go!
You got that.
Oh my gosh, that is
Wow.
great. That is great. Alright, guys, we are going to wrap up this show. I have had so much fun with you.
I have too.
This has been great. Guys, if you've made it this far, hopefully you have. My hope for you guys, and this is my thought you should know moment for the wrap up the show. I hope that you will just kind of piggybacking off of WAP's story today and what you've heard of it, is that you will just embrace every challenge that comes your way. And I know that is sometimes easier said than done, like embracing life challenges and the obstacles that come with it. But embracing them is such an important thing in life, because what you'll find is that on the other end of that obstacle, on the other side of the fears that you may have and that you're facing, is such a beautiful thing.
Greatness.
And at the end of the day, guys, that is what's going to help you get through life. That'll help you get through this game. That'll help you get through school and a lot of different facets of life. So, again, Wapbeer, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. It's great. I had a lot of fun. I hope everything I said can be used for somebody out there. And always remember, if you're like me, you're gonna make it. Always.
Absolutely. I love you to death.
Love you.
And so grateful for you. So, guys, as I always say, we'll wrap up this show the same way we always do. So please, let every single thing you do be done in love, because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes the world go round. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.